Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to sift through complex information and pull out the key insights just for you. Today, we're tackling something that's just everywhere. It's color. I mean, think about it, your clothes, websites, everything. It often says more than words, right?
Absolutely.
But how much do we really get its power in design?
That's the question.
So our mission today is to really unpack how color shapes what you see, what you feel, maybe even what you do. We're diving into Aaris Sherin's design elements, color fundamentals, basically giving you a shortcut to getting smart about color.
And it's so important because, well, color isn't just decoration. It's a fundamental tool for designers. It's like a language, really.
A language? How so?
Well, it symbolizes ideas, creates meaning, carries cultural weight. I mean, seriously, the right colors can make or break whether someone buys a product. It's not just looks. It's communication, connection, deep stuff.
Okay, you've convinced me it's more than just pretty packaging. But before we get into the psychology and all that, let's back up. What is color? Like, fundamentally?
Right, the basics. At its core, color is just varying wavelengths of light.
Light?
Yeah, light bounces off a surface, hits your eye, and your rods and cones interpret those wavelengths as color. Simple as that, kind of. Reds have the longest wavelengths, violets the shortest, and white light. That's actually all the colors mixed together. Black is the opposite, the absence of reflected light.
Wow, so all the colors we see just come from light bouncing around and what our eyes can actually pick up, that visible spectrum. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet.
Exactly. And from those, you get the three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, which you can mix to get pretty much everything else.
Okay, so from that slice of the spectrum, what are the main things designers, focus on, the key attributes?
Good question. We usually break it down into a few key things.
Okay.
First, hue. That's basically just another word for color. We use them interchangeably.
Cut.
Then there's saturation or intensity. That's how pure or strong the color is, like without any white or black. Think of a super bright, saturated orange traffic cone.
Right, really vivid.
Exactly. It grabs your attention because it's so pure, so intense. It's almost a warning signal just because of its vividness.
Okay, makes sense.
Value. That's just how light or dark the color is. If you add white, you get a tint, it gets lighter. Add black, you get a shade, it gets darker.
Ah, tints and shades.
And value is super important for creating emphasis, hierarchy. It tells your eye what to look at first.
Guides the eye. Okay.
And finally, color temperature. That's the perceived warmth or coolness. Warmer lights often look yellowish or reddish. Cooler tones tend towards green or blue. Your monitor calibration can even mess with how you see this, by the way.
Yeah, like the light in my office feels really different morning versus evening with different lamps. That's color temperature, huh?
Pretty much.
It really makes you notice how these basics, hue, saturation, value, temperature, show up everywhere. Like a simple stop sign, bright saturated red, or I don't know, a brand logo you see all the time. The colors tell you something instantly.
Exactly. It's all built on those fundamentals.
So these systems define colors, but making them work together, that seems like the real trick. I see color wheels all the time. Are they the key, or is there more to it?
Oh, they're definitely a key guide. But first, let's talk systems. For design, there are mainly three. First, the subtractive model, you probably know it as CMYK.
Cyan, magenta, yellow, black. Right, for printing.
Exactly. The inks subtract light from the white paper.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Oh.
For really deep black areas in print, designers often use what's called rich black.
Rich black.
Yeah, it's a mix of C, M, Y, and K, not just 100% black ink. It looks much deeper, more luxurious. A subtle thing, but it makes a difference, especially for high-end stuff.
Interesting. Okay, what's next?
The additive model, or RGB, red, green, blue. This is for screens, TVs, monitors, phones.
Ah, light-based.
Right. Here, light is added together. All colors combined make white. No light makes black. Totally different from print.
Got it. RGB for screens, CMYK for print.
And then there's the Pantone Matching System, or PMS. This is a bit different. It's a proprietary system printers use for super precise color matching.
Like specific paint chip colors, but for ink?
Sort of, yeah. It ensures that the Coca-Cola red looks exactly the same, whether it's on a can, a billboard, or a T-shirt. They have pre-mixed inks for tons of colors on different paper types. Consistency is key.
Okay, so you've got these systems, CMYK, RGB, Pantone. Now, how do designers actually combine colors so they look good and, well, work? Back to the color wheel.
Yep. The color wheel is your map for color relationships. You start with the primaries, red, yellow, blue. Mix two primaries, you get secondaries, violet, orange, green. Mix the primary and the secondary next to it, you get tertiaries.
Right, the basic building blocks.
Then you get into harmonies. Complementary hues are opposites on the wheel. Red and green, yellow and purple.
Okay, I know those pairings. They always seem intense.
They are. Unlike, say, analogous colors like blues and greens, which feel calm and flowy, complementaries create tension. They sort of fight each other, but also complete each other. It's why they're great for grabbing attention, making something really pop. Your eye actually looks for the complement to find balance, believe it or not. It creates an after image.
Huh. An after image. Interesting. What else?
There's split complementary. You take a base color, then use the two colors right next to its direct opposite. Gives you high contrast, but maybe a bit less jarring than pure complements.
Okay.
Analogous colors are neighbors on the wheel, like a blue-green, and a green. They usually feel harmonious, unified, because the wavelengths are similar.
Makes sense. They're related.
Then you have triads, 3 colors evenly spaced around the wheel, often very vibrant and balanced. And tetrads, which use 4 colors, usually 2 pairs of complements or split complements. These can get complex, but create really rich palettes.
Wow, lots of options.
And don't forget monochromatic, just variations, tints and shades of one single hue. Always harmonious and can be cheaper to print since you might only need one ink color.
That's a really clear breakdown. It makes you think, like, my phone screen is RGB light, but a magazine is CMYK ink. You can actually see the difference sometimes.
Exactly. Different systems, different feel.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me, how color messes with our heads. You mentioned it influences us subconsciously.
Oh, definitely. Color isn't just seen, it's felt. It carries meaning, evokes emotions. And yeah, it nudges consumer behavior without us even noticing sometimes.
Like how? Any examples?
Sure. There's that University of Rochester study. Found men rated a woman in red as 10–20% more attractive than her twin in pastels.
Wow, just the color.
Seems like it. And in Wales, some police forces painted holding cells blue. Why? There's some thinking that blue might actually encourage people to be more truthful.
Blue makes you truthful. That's wild.
It is. Even early psychologists like Jung and Freud were interested in color's psychological impact. It goes way back.
It's incredible how deep this runs, but are these reactions the same for everyone? Like, does red always mean attraction or blue always mean truth?
That's the tricky part, what we call the prediction problem. No, the responses aren't universal at all. They depend hugely on your age, gender, culture, where you grew up, your personal experiences.
So it's not a simple code.
Not even close. Think about synesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
Some people literally see letters or numbers in specific colors. Or tetrachromats, mostly women apparently, who have an extra type of cone cell in their eyes and can see maybe 100 times more colors than the rest of us.
100 times more colors? I can't even imagine that.
Right. So predicting a single emotional response to a color, pretty much impossible.
Okay, so if everyone reacts differently and culture plays a huge role, how do designers even begin to use color effectively without accidentally sending the wrong message?
That's where research and context become absolutely vital. Cultural context is everything. You mentioned white weddings in the West, right? It symbolizes purity. But in parts of Asia, white is for funerals.
Totally different meaning.
Exactly. Or in China, red is the go-to for weddings. It means good luck. And language even reflected this. There's an indigenous language in Guatemala, Kikchi, that apparently only has main terms for white, black, yellow, red, and then one word for both green and blue.
Whoa. Only 5 basic color words.
Shows how perception and culture are intertwined. So designers have to understand their audience's cultural background to avoid major missteps. Beyond that, yeah, we talk about broad categories. Bright colors grab attention, pale colors feel softer, hot colors energize, cold colors like blue often feel trustworthy or calm. Neutrals provide balance.
And are there colors that just clash, like combinations to avoid?
Oh, definitely. Some pairings are just really hard on the eyes, poor legibility. Red on blue is tough. Orange on blue too. Yellow on orange, green on orange. They often vibrate visually or just don't have enough contrast. Makes reading a real pain.
So designers usually avoid those?
Usually, yes, if legibility is the goal. But sometimes you see them used on purpose, maybe for an artistic effect, something jarring or abstract where reading isn't the main point. It's a risk, but it can be done.
A calculated risk.
Exactly. And always remember light.
Yeah.
How and where someone sees the design bright sun, dim room under fluorescent lights that drastically changes how the colors look and feel.
It really makes you think. Next time you see a color, consider how its meaning might shift across cultures. Or just notice how the light in your room changes everything. It's quite the eye-opener.
It really is.
Okay, we've got the science, the systems. Now let's talk about color in action. How do designers use all this theory to actually shape what we see every day?
Right. Putting it to work. Color is incredibly dynamic. Just thinking about form and space, color can totally guide your eye. It creates focal points. It can make things look like they're popping out or receding, even on a flat screen or page. Gives you that illusion of depth.
So it manipulates space visually.
Pretty much. And when you combine it with basic elements, like shapes, color gives them meaning, structure, makes a design hang together. For lines, color adds emphasis, suggests movement. Think of like jagged red lines feeling agitated, smooth blue lines feeling calm. It defines space, adds depth.
And contrast.
Oh yeah, color is key for contrast and scale. Black and white give you the maximum contrast, obviously, but even something like a bright turquoise against a dark brown really stands out. And scale. Making type large and brightly colored is a super simple way to shout, "Look at me, this is important."
Makes sense. So what about when you add pictures, photos, illustrations into the mix?
Images plus color. That's a powerful combo for instant emotional response. It sets a mood immediately. Designers have to choose black and white, full color. Sometimes they'll use color overlays or tints to make the image fit better with the overall color scheme.
How do they do that?
A common trick is to sample a specific color from the photo itself and repeat that color in text or other graphic elements. It really ties everything together visually.
That's clever. And finding those images, I know designers use stock photo sites, right? Like iStock, Shutterstock, Getty.
Absolutely. Those are huge resources. But you can also find great free, copyright-cleared stuff on places like Flickr sometimes. Or even just reach out to photographers directly. Often they're happy for you to use an image if you give them credit. Lots of ways to source good visuals.
Okay, visuals handled. Now, what happens when we add text? How does color affect reading? Legibility seems crucial here.
It absolutely is.
Oh.
Color hugely impacts how we perceive letters. For body text, the main paragraphs of reading material black text on a white background is still king. Highest contrast, easiest to read.
The gold standard.
Pretty much. Using color for body text, it's really tricky. If the contrast isn't right or the color is too distracting, people just won't bother reading. They don't have the patience to squint.
Yeah, I've definitely struggled with some websites like that.
Exactly. But for display text, big headlines, signs, logos, you have way more freedom. The larger size means you can use bolder, more expressive colors without losing readability so easily. Color here can be like a visual shout.
Make it pop.
Right. But there are exceptions. Sometimes designers use type almost like a texture or an image itself. In those cases, they might intentionally make it harder to read to achieve a certain look or feeling. Legibility takes a back seat to the overall visual effect.
Interesting. And speaking of effects, color can be used to provoke too, can it? Like politically.
Oh, for sure. Color has a long history in political, agitation, protest, identity. Think about red can. It's strongly associated with communism in some contexts, but also with the Republican Party in the U.S.
Same color, very different meanings.
Totally depends on context.
Yeah.
Or remember the Orange Revolution in Ukraine. That color became the symbol of a whole movement. It shows how colors gain meaning through association and repetition within a culture, not because the color itself inherently means something political.
It's amazing how a simple ad or website uses all of this color, image, text to guide you and send a message almost instantly. You don't even consciously process it half the time.
And that organizational power is huge too. Think about wayfinding signs on the highway, or how color makes complex charts and infographics easier to understand.
Right, or how you spot a Target bullseye or McDonald's arches from, like, a mile away. That immediate recognition.
Exactly. There's that saying in the art world, apparently. If you can't make it big, make it red.
Huh. Bit simplistic, maybe.
Maybe, but it gets at something true. Color is often the very first thing that grabs our attention in a cluttered visual landscape. It's an instant identifier.
Which brings us to branding. This raises a really important question. How does a specific color get so tied to a brand that you instantly think of them?
That's the magic and difficulty of branding. Color is absolutely critical. It can make or break recognition. You said Coca-Cola red, Walmart blue. T-Mobile pink is another great example. It really helps them stand out from, say, Verizon or AT&T.
So how do they choose?
Well, designers think hard about the target audience. Are they aiming for conservative, traditional types? Or maybe younger, more risk-taking consumers? That influences the palette. Is the brand meant to feel calming or energetic or luxurious?
Lots of factors.
Definitely. And once they choose, consistency is everything. That's where brand guidelines come in. These super detailed documents specify the exact colors, CMYK, RGB, Pantone values, and how they must be used across everything. Print, web, PV, merchandise.
Rules, rules, rules.
Pretty much. They often include do's and don'ts, too, like don't use our blue next to our competitor's red, or make sure the logo is readable even when small. It protects the brand identity.
Okay, so we have guidelines, best practices.
Hmm.
The 10 rules for working with color that Sharon mentions cover things like working from goals, testing, adjusting. But I'm always curious, when is it okay to break those rules?
Ah, the exceptions. That's where true innovation can happen. The book mentions these real-life exceptions. Sometimes making a really bold, risky color choice, something that seems to fly in the face of everything that a designer has been taught, can lead to incredibly memorable, exciting design.
So it's not about just ignoring rules.
No, not at all. It's about understanding them so well that you know precisely when and how you can bend or break them for maximum impact. It has to be intentional, strategic, not just random chaos.
And convincing a client to go for a rule-breaking choice must be tough.
Oh, yeah. That's why presenting a clear rationale is key. You need to back up your choices with research, data, maybe cultural insights. Everyone has an opinion on color, right? I just don't like green. Your job is to explain why this specific green works for this specific purpose and audience.
Makes sense. And for listeners who want to play around with this stuff themselves, you mentioned some tools.
Yeah, there are great online resources. Adobe Cooler, now called Adobe Color, is fantastic. Color Scheme Designer is another good one. They let you build palettes, test harmonies.
And they even have options for color blindness, right? That seems really important.
Hugely important for accessibility. These tools often let you simulate how your palette looks to people with different types of color vision deficiency. It helps you make more inclusive choices. It's all about empowering you, the designer, or just the curious individual to understand the impact of color.
Definitely something to check out. So take a moment and think about a brand whose colors just instantly make you feel something or know who they are. Knowing all this now, how might that change how you approach your next creative project, or even just putting together a presentation? The influence is just everywhere.
It truly is.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into color fundamentals. It's clear color is so much more than just decoration, isn't it? It's this universal language, part science, part art, part psychology, part culture.
A really complex mix.
And when you understand it, when you apply it thoughtfully, it can completely change how people see and feel about, well, pretty much anything.
Absolutely. Johannes Etten, the famous Bauhaus teacher, talked about how studying color relationships sharpens your sensitivity. So maybe here's a final thought. Try consciously observing the colors around you, a street sign, a website, an ad. How are those colors working? What stories are they telling you without using any words at all? Paying attention like that might just transform your own visual sensitivity. What are colors saying to you?